Welcome to our new adventure in Escape Room. Bienvenidos a la nueva aventura en un cuarto de escape. Cuarto de Escape, Escape Room. Un cuarto de escape es un juego que se puede jugar individualmente o en grupos. Hay cuartos de escape físicos, no se confundan con el escape del auto, y hay cuartos de escape virtuales. Hoy explicaré cómo crear un cuarto de escape virtual. Escape Room is a game that can be played by one individual or in groups. But it is more fun when it is played with groups because everybody has a different learning profile and they can contribute with different abilities or interests or ideas. There are physical escape rooms and there are virtual escape rooms. Today I will be explaining how to create a virtual escape room. Here are some of the photos that I took from just the website. I imported some pictures as some of the examples, and I look for Creative Commons pictures, and some of them are a little bit spooky to me. The backgrounds are a little bit spooky, but in some I probably would not want to escape a room that is full of books. My preference is usually the ones that look kind of like space or for adventure. So here's a tour. Here's a short tour of this space theme escape room. And so if you walk around, you can click on the links. You can try to find clues. So you know that right now that there's one in here. Maybe there's one in here. If you are already in the presentation mode, the clock should be ticking already. And I'm just going to go ahead and show you where the logs were. So they are right here. And if I click in here, it takes me to a Google form where I can be answering some of the questions. How to create the background for your Google. So, ¿cómo crear el fondo para el cuarto de escape? It's much easier to move and find different items in escape room when your background is not moving around, when your picture is not moving. One of the things that I do is I create a picture, or I download a picture, or I have saved a picture previously on my desktop. In this case, I am using one of the Creative Commons only escape room spaceship pictures, and I saved it on my desktop. And all I have to do now is format the background. So I'm right clicking and format background. I'm looking for my picture, and instead of a picture, I'm going to say insert. I'm going to select the very first one that I find, and that's it. Now, when I click edit, it's not going to be moving. Very brief reminder on how to import from your PowerPoint slides into a Google slide. I don't know about you, but I have accumulated a lot of PowerPoint presentations that I know I can just import easily into Google Slides. And the easiest thing for me to do is I just drag my PowerPoint into my drive, so you have it in here. But since I don't want to open it with a specific application, or I don't want to have an extension, I just create a new slide, and I'm just going to name it anything I want. I'm just gonna create it in here, escape room background, for example, or escape room pictures, or Creative Commons pictures, whichever you want to use. I always recommend that you use your Creative Commons only if you are using pictures from the internet. So all I have to do is click File, Import Slides, and again, I had already uploaded from the PowerPoint presentation before into one of my folders. So I could import all of the slides if I want to, or I can just select one of them. Just for this example, I'm just gonna click on one of them, the one in the middle, and all I have to do is click import slide. That's it. And I can get rid of the first page. And that's it, voila, that's all I needed to do. Now my document is not a PowerPoint. I don't have to open it with something else. It is totally a new document called Escape Room Pictures. And I can just keep it and save it that way. Agregar el reloj, have to add the clock, adding the countdown timer. Dun dun dun! It is time to set the time. You can add a countdown timer, and especially for your competitive players. And my favorite stories are when my competitive players say they came back to the room many times, and I know that because they say the first time it took me 20 minutes, the second time it took me 15 minutes, the third time it only took me 2 minutes. And so I know that they visited the escape room more than once. The easiest way to do that is insert video. I had already typed on my search area 20-minute countdown, and I had already looked for one that would match the theme of my escape room and one that is appropriate, because there are some in there that might contain maybe an ad or something or music that you don't find would be appropriate for your theme or for that particular level of learners. So make sure that you are finding the correct one, or that you search ahead of time for those timers. You can also format your timer. You can move it, you can place it anywhere. I think I'm going to place it right in this little area. And it will just serve as a reminder that it is there. And if they click on it accidentally and if they realize it's not a log, then they would have to come back and find the logs. In my format options, I'm going to, again, if you don't like the music, you can mute, but I like the sound that it makes. The one that I selected makes a really nice sound at the end. It beeps at the end, so I like that. And you can decide if you want it to play on click, automatically, or manual. It depends on the challenge. If you want it to be like a clue that they realize it's not a clue, then play on click. But you can also play it automatically so that the players know exactly the time when they started they entered the escape room and how long it took them to escape. Ahora agrega pistas o tutoriales. Add the clues or the tutorials. To add some clues. These are not to open the logs, they are just to maybe give tutorials on how to solve some of the problems or how to solve some of the riddles or some of the questions. Depending on where your learners are in the proficiency continuum or what is their level, you might want to add some clues or actually tutorials. That's what I am adding. And I selected some already from YouTube. So what I do is I just add a shape, hyperlink it to the YouTube video that I want to use as a tutorial. And I'm just using some examples in here. Now, I don't like this to be totally white, so I can make it transparent. Also, the line is transparent. And that way, when you give instructions to your students, they should know that they should be clicking around to find the clues. And so some are going to be more difficult. If you want to make it a little bit more easier, or if there is a particular clue that you for sure want your learners to know, so I'm going to add,
I know, not more easier, but either easier or less difficult.
Another clue. You can also add images. Again, you can add shapes if you want to and change the different colors, or you can add photos or mini videos. Or I suggest, for example, I am going to add an image in here. I am searching the web and I already have a filter that looks only for Creative Commons, o filtra solo para las que no tienen copyright. So I'm filtering only. And I had already selected computer, and something else that you might want to do that I suggest is that you look for the ones that have the transparent background. That way you don't have like a background of a color that doesn't match your theme. So I added one that has a transparent background. I don't know what happened. Where did it go?
PNG
Let's do it again.
O transparente es el fondo que deben
Image,
buscar.
search in the web, computer transparent background, and I'll insert that one in there. There it is. And now I can resize it and place it anywhere I want, depending on how visible I want that clue to be for my students. So I'm just going to place it right here in the center, thinking that this might be a very important clue. So I can go ahead and hyperlink it. I'll add the hyperlink, I paste the hyperlink, I apply it. And now that would be one that is a little bit more easier to find. So there's one clue.
I know, easier to find or less difficult to find.
Here's another clue. And you can do that all around. You can add sounds, you can add clues, you can add videos. The ones that I added were just tutorials from YouTube. This, again, those are not the logs. The logs are your forms with your questions. These are just tutorials. And again, some players might need them more than others.
Ahora agrega candados en la puerta principal. Add your locks to the main door.
Tutorials on how...
There are many tutorials on the website on how to create the Google Forms.
Create Google Forms. So this is just a supercalifragilisticexpialidocious abbreviated version.
Una versión supercalifragilisticexpialidosamente abreviada.
So for the header, I just click on the area where I could click for my theme options, and I uploaded an image that I already had for my escape room. But you can also select some of the theme options that they have in there, or the different theme colors. I already had the question, and I make sure that it was a short answer. Don't use, for the first one, don't use the multiple choice because you need a validation. So make sure that you have short answer, and also that the required button is activated. On the three dots, the three vertical dots, you are going to see response validation, and that's very important. You do require a response validation to open the first log and to continue. And if anybody knows how to do the multiple choice validation, let me know. So I have just a very simple question sample that I have in here. Which of the three following words we often use when writing passive voice sentences? By, or by. And again, because I am required validation. Oh, sorry. I said that I needed a short answer, not. Now my response validation, I can, for my custom error text, I could say, inténtalo de nuevo. If I were writing a form in Spanish, but since this is going to be in English, the target language will be English in this case, I can write, try again. So that's for my the error. And now for the short answer, I am going to change text because the answer is going to be a text. And some of your clues might be numbers. Some of your clues might be length, number, regular expression, etc. I'm going to choose a text, and the text that I need as a validation would be by. And again, try again if they make a mistake. And now I can save it, or I can duplicate, and now I can keep going. I can continue requiring each of the questions could be sort of a log. And I know that for.
And if you don't know how to add the more questions, just click on the plus sign. Para añadir más preguntas, nada más se tiene que
picturing
hacer
here,
plus.
I can also add. I can look for an image like log. Something that would be easy to use for the space, maybe that one, and that could be the picture for my next question. And so you see, you can keep adding questions just like you would normally do on a Google form.
Ahora, crear el guión para la aventura. Create the adventure script.
Create or give an introduction to the adventure. In some escape rooms, there are videos that are inserted into the main room.
Algunos de los cuartos de escape tienen videos dentro del cuarto de escape.
And in others, the adventure is explained through the log, finally, or when you find the door that contains all of the logs. In this case, in the Google form.
En este caso está directamente en la forma de Google. Ahí está el guión para la aventura.
For example, welcome to our space escape room. The spaceship computer has malfunctioned and you are locked in a room. In order to open the password locks and to return to the main cabin, you will have to solve some riddles and to answer some questions. Each of the logs will give you access to one or more of the password characters. And then you can create your riddles and give for each one. Every time that you answer a riddle, you open a log, and then you give perhaps one of the words of the password to complete the adventure.
Yeah, I suggest that you keep adding, every log would have one character if possible. Sería buena idea que cada una de las preguntas o de los acertijos o de los problemas tuvieran una letra que se va a usar al final para la contraseña. Agregar el enlace de la forma, hyperlink to the Google form.
To post the hyperlink or to paste the URL for the hyperlink or the link that it is going to be attached to the Google form in the place where you want the log. Make sure that you click on the I to where you want the log. Make sure that you click on the I to get the link.
El ojo.
Right now, as you are creating your form, you are going to be in the edit or the editable form. You want to give the link of the preview. So if I click here in the preview one, I can see that I have some of the questions that are already there so that I answer them.
Puedo ya responder.
In here, for example, I know what the answer is going to be, so I'm just going to give a wrong answer. And it says try again. It gives me a little hint. I try again. And now I can move on to the next link. So again, make sure that you are only given the preview link. So now you can link to your Google form, and you are going to, in this case, I'm removing the link that is there, and I'm going to click on the hyperlink, and now I'm going to paste the one that said preview.
And I had already a shape, ya tenía un rectángulo ahí que no tenía, que era transparente. My shape was already transparent.
Or view form, and I can apply.
Ahora compartir la diapositiva. Asegúrate de guardar copias en diferentes archivos. Sharing the Google slide and make sure to keep copies in separate folders, just in case.
Listos para compartir. And finally, ready to share your escape room. You are going to click on the share button just to make sure that you have the correct settings. Right now I have it as restricted, but if I want it, I can change that to anyone with the link. Puedo cambiar a cualquier persona con el enlace, por ejemplo. And now I can also change here, make sure that you have it in the viewer mode, not on the commentator or not on the editor. Because anyone, if you have editor, anyone can make changes. Si tienes editor, cualquier persona lo cambia. So you're going to just change it to viewer. And now, or I can share it with groups, or I can share it, if I want it to be restricted, I can also restrict it to the persons who I allow with the emails. And then I click on done.
Y este es, ahora sí, a jugar y buena suerte. Time to play.